Emily, and today I'm going to teach you how not to cook herb-crusted chicken breast with a basil cream sauce served over wild rice. Now what I mean by how not to cook, I do not mean practically burning down my kitchen by trying to cook chicken. I mean that I'm going to show you some simple things while cooking this dish that people could forget, things that people could possibly overlook, or things that people just don't really think about or ignore while doing dishes. And hopefully those will help you be a better cook. We are going to need 1 package of wild rice, 4 boneless chicken breasts that are going to be flattened, 1/2 cup of milk, 1 cup of Italian breadcrumbs, 4 teaspoons of garlic and herb seasoning, 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 garlic cloves that are going to be minced, 1 cup of chicken broth, 1/2 cup of Italian diced tomatoes, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, 1 cup of heavy cream, 4 tablespoons of dried basil, and a dash of ground pepper. And with that, I'm going to first off sanitize and just wash my hands because I will be working with raw meat and I will be cutting off the fat before I flatten them. You're just going to cut into whatever packaging that you have and take out a chicken breast. Now we're just going to take the first chicken breast and we're going to find the fat on it and just try to cut that part out. It kind of does stick to your hands a little bit, so that can be a little bit tricky, but it's worth your time to get it off of the meat before you cook it. Now I'm done cleaning off all the fat on the chicken, and then I just rinsed it off with water to ensure that it's clean and that all of the fat that I cut off is completely off. And before we're going to pound it down to make it thinner, we are going to cook the rice first because it's going to take longer to cook than the chicken and the sauce. It's going to take about an average of 20 minutes, and we're just going to need 2 1/4 cup of water with it, the rice seasoning, and a tablespoon of butter. Now I'm just going to stir all of the contents together, and we're going to bring this to a boil before we simmer it. So before I start pounding the chicken in to make it thinner, you want to kind of keep an eye on your rice just to make sure that it's not overboiling, or just leaving it there for too long is just going to be a bad option. But while we're pounding this in, you want to use the flat side, because if you use the pointy side, that is going to chop up the chicken and you're not going to want that. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm just going to stir it a little bit more, and then you're going to cook it and you're going to put it to a simmer. You just want to put a cover on it so that it doesn't leak over the side as it's simmering for about 20 minutes. And then I'm just going to set that time on the timer instead of just estimating how much time, so that way I for sure know that the rice is going to be done within 20 minutes. And another reason why we have the cover on is just so that in the end we don't have dry rice. You want all the moisture to stay in so that it can go into the rice. So when we're done cooking, we get fluffy rice instead of super dried rice. So now I have about 6 tablespoons of butter in a medium saucepan, and I'm just melting this so that we can put the chicken in it and cook it for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, or however long it takes to cook the chicken. And this is on a medium heat. And while the butter is settling, we are going to prepare our chicken so that it's ready to put on when the butter is completely melted. Alright, now I preset everything from the crumbs to the seasoning to the milk. and you just want to make sure that you have exact measurements. Otherwise, they're not going to turn in exactly how you want. And now I'm just going to pour the seasoning and the breadcrumbs in together. And you don't want to dip the chicken in the seasoning before you dip it in the milk, because if you dip it in the milk first, it'll stick to the seasoning and the breadcrumbs. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with some messy chicken breasts. You're just gonna want to put them right on the pan when the butter is done. And make sure you're still watching it. You don't want burnt butter. And I'm just gonna turn the heat down just a little bit while we're waiting for the other chicken. We're just gonna leave that there for now. And go back to the chicken. Alright, now the rice is done. And now you want to leave the cover on so that all the heat is stored in there and it's going to cook the chicken faster, and that's what you want. You want to check it. You're going to put the fork in it and you're going to cut it with the knife and just look to see if everything on the inside is white. Look through to see if it's white all the way. I'm just going to store it in the microwave. I'm not going to turn it on. But storing it in the microwave will keep it contained in its warmth, so it'll stay warm longer. You should not wash the pan out after you're done taking all the chicken out. You want all that residue, all of the remaining seasoning. We are going to add in 1 cup of chicken broth, which I've already measured out. Now that that's done, we are going to add 1/2 cup of the tomatoes. And then we are going to add the cup of heavy whipping cream. Now that we've mixed it on reduced heat, we are going to add our Parmesan cheese, our basil leaves, and our ground pepper. Set the Parmesan, so it's about 1 cup. You want to keep stirring it because it has Parmesan cheese in it, and just because you don't want that to stick to the bottom. And this is the finished product. I'm just putting a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese on that.